Well, hi, folks. Thank you for joining us here on our live event after the premiere of episode 269. And appreciate you all being here. I don't know if the storyteller is in the group with us or not, so I thought I would ask, uh, are you here? Hello, Sally. Thank you for joining us again. And Risk 603. Rain's mom, hope you're okay. I don't I don't think that Carla is here. Did I go to Alabama for that story? No, we shot that story in Florida. I have been through Alabama, but quite a few times. But I don't. We haven't done any stories in Alabama yet. We're certainly open to doing stories in Alabama or pretty much any place else. We have storytelling summits coming up in Pensacola, Florida, and it looks like down around Cocoa Beach as well in August. So they're kind of right around the corner. Listening made you cry. Well, I hope it wasn't the headache that that did that. As I remember you said you're dealing with a migraine. So very glad all of you are here. We have this opportunity to talk for a little while. We don't usually do these premieres in the afternoon. We wanted to see how it goes, see if maybe we will uh, draw some new audience, some people who can't usually make the live events in the evening, but might be able to on a Saturday afternoon. So here we are. We're probably not going to go as long as typical because, well, I got stuff going on this afternoon. So who else is here? I don't guess our storyteller is here. We haven't heard from her, so hope everything is okay with her. She does have a lot going on. Brianna, if you're close, we'd love to have you in Pensacola next month. Look who's here. It's Hammer Davis. Holy cow. So thank you for joining us, Hammer. We need to do a little bit of promotion for the event in Pensacola and in the trip to Cocoa Beach. There's some sort of like a rally happening in Cocoa Beach that we're going to get there to do stories, and then after the stories, uh, we're going to try to check out this rally that I have. I have information about. It is, there we go. The annual Forever Angels of Brevard poker run, August 30th. 30th. It's at the American Legion Riders Post 394. And it's helping vets fight addiction and ride for those who have lost the battle. So it should be an interesting event. You can find out more about it on Facebook on the page with you search for Forever Angels of Brevard. So that's the scoop on that. So I see we have just 11 people in the event right now. But we only have one thumbs up. We could use a few more of those. That's always good. Media coverage. Media coverage is a great thing. It's a great way to get exposure for the cause. And from the perspective of the media, being able to go someplace where there's multiple stories just kind of waiting for them all together in one place, that is easy for them. It is low hanging fruit. So pointing out to them that there'll be a lot of stories available at the event can help motivate them to be a part of it. So does anybody here have questions for me? Questions about our channel or anything like that? I always like to put that question out there and give people a chance to ask whatever you'd like to ask. That you can ask about our fentanyl series or the addiction recovery series, human trafficking series, domestic violence series, or the cannabis-induced psychosis series, or something else. Maybe there's some topic that you think is worth some attention that we should address. We're open to hear from anything. Why doesn't drug use seem to be slowing down? Risk asks. That's the real question. The thing that drives fentanyl production, illicit fentanyl production, and all the other products is demand. Is that there are a lot of people in the United States who will buy this. Yes, Sally asked, the storyteller didn't say, but I'm guessing he got fentanyl. And he got a contaminated drug that probably had fentanyl, and that's what caused his death. But she said that the toxicology report was complicated, and that she didn't really explore it very far. It's as if these horror stories aren't getting through, Risk says. And yeah, I suppose these stories aren't getting through to the right audience. That a lot of our audience are people who've experienced a loss or come close to experiencing a loss, and they're doing other things to spread the word, to increase awareness about the dangers of fentanyl and of illicit drugs in general. And so it isn't, it takes some sharing. It takes some pushing the message that is in these videos on to the people that really need to hear them. And they're out doing other things. So I would love to see the series reach a bigger audience. But deaths from fentanyl have gone down a little bit. Just a little bit. I did have, I think I still do. So here's a graphic that shows what's happened with synthetic opioid deaths for a while over the last, well, since 2012 is really when it all began. And there's a pretty dramatic drop on the end of this chart. But it's important to realize that those numbers are preliminary, so they may not be as accurate as we would like, but they're certainly promising. So we do make these videos available to rehabs. We also have a series of addiction recovery videos that we always encourage rehab facilities to make use of. We can make digital files available to any kind of facility that has a use for them. Our only restriction is that they can't repost it. They can't put it somewhere online where it might compete with the original. The, every view that happens online, we really want that to be counted so that we better understand our audience and who we're reaching. And yes, there's been some changes to the border for sure, and that has probably had an impact as well. Plus, last week, the 15th or 16th, so almost 2 weeks ago, a new bill was signed into law. The Halt Fentanyl Act was signed into law at the White House at a uh, I guess you would call it a press event that I was invited to be there. So I went. My wife and I went. It was quite interesting. It was surreal to be in an audience in the East Room of the White House for an event like that, and to look up there and see the president at the podium that you always see the president at, and behind him is at least seven of our storytellers, along with others who have lost loved ones to fentanyl, who either aren't interested in sharing their story with us or just haven't had the chance yet. And so I can't really explain the law in an informed kind of way, but it increases punishment options for dealing and distribution. And that's about as specific as I can get, but gosh, you're welcome to Google it and report back to us. What else? Who has some questions for us? We try to really keep the lines of communication open, and I don't have anything prepared to share with you. We have our next story is probably going to be a story about cannabis induced psychosis. Probably. It could be a story about domestic violence, or it could be a story about fentanyl poisoning. But we have 3 or 4 stories that are in the works that are at different stages of the editing process, and so it's kind of up in the air as to what's going to be next. It's just not Mexico. A lot of it comes from Vancouver. That's true. A lot of it comes from the United States too. That more and more states are creating laws that make it illegal to own a pill press. And there's a reason they're doing that. They're finding pill presses when they have drug busts. And so the key isn't in making the source go away, because a new source will find a way if there's a demand. But if we can do something about the demand, then the source doesn't even matter a little bit. It's a basic business thing Netflix didn't put Blockbuster out of business by going after the supplier. Netflix didn't go after distribution companies and production studios. Netflix went after the audience and offered the audience something better. And the audience, the customers, quit supporting Blockbuster. I'm sure someone from Blockbuster could explain that better. You'd have to find someone, and that could be a challenge. Vancouver is a major drug hub. Yes, I've heard that we have seen things that certainly support that concept. It doesn't compare to the volume of drugs that come from Mexico, though. That Mexico is a far more significant source. But it's the demand. That's the real villain. You're on fentanyl right now, Achilles. Why? Because of a medical need, or is it an addiction thing, or what's the story? See, we just ask whatever here. I can tell you that if it is an addiction issue, there is help out there. And we also have a series of addiction recovery stories that you would probably find interesting. We have a playlist of about 50 addiction recovery stories. And I am going to post a link. Started out as a medical problem, turned into a small fentanyl habit. I don't know, Achilles. I don't know if there's such a thing as a small fentanyl habit. So there is, I posted a link to the playlist of recovery stories, and most of the recovery stories have great ideas about how to address the issue, and the storytellers talk about the process that they went through. They talk about how they made the decision, how they committed to the decision. Important stuff. Starting methadone soon. Start soon. Start very soon. There's also the Vivitrol shot. You can't do both, but there's resources out there, and it just takes that one hot dose to be it. If you have to use, do not use alone. Have someone around with you who is aware of whatever your circumstances are and can kind of monitor what's happening. And have naloxone around. This is Narcan, but there's other brands as well. Cloxato and Walgreens has their own brand. I believe I have a graphic. I think I have a graphic that I can share with you guys. Here you go. So, okay, here you don't go, but now here you go. So the okay. Well, I think I'm going to get this right. There we are. Okay. So all of these are naloxone. They all use the active ingredient in all of these is naloxone, and only one says Narcan on it. And so it's important to recognize that there are a lot of options out there other than the brand name Narcan. They all work equally well. So there's a lot of options, Achilles, and you really you really need to move. You really need to get on it quick, because it just takes that it just takes that one dose. Have a look at some of the recovery stories in our series. There's some really, really spectacular stories that are, they can be inspiring, motivating, certainly interesting. Being well stocked with Narcan is good, but you can't administer it yourself. You won't know. You'll kind of drift off to sleep instead of realizing there's a problem, and you'll die. So you've got to have someone with you when you're using, like in the same room. I'm spending $100 a week. It was worse, but it's time to get off it before I lose it all. For sure, Achilles. You got this. There is one of our, I call them usual suspects, the people that we normally see in these live events. I call them usual suspects. And one of them, her name is Brenda, and she has been in recovery from a fentanyl addiction for about 325 days. I could be off a day or two, but that's it. And the reason I know that is because every time she is here in the group, she shares what day she's on. And she could be a great resource for you to talk to. And there are others in the group as well who have similar experiences and would be glad to help you out. There is some of our usual suspects have sort of referred to these live events as like going to a meeting, meaning an AA meeting or an NA meeting. Stopping OxyContin actually made things worse. Yeah, I can imagine that. That's an opioid too, and so they all kind of contribute to the same issues. So, So I'm just seeing a weird flicker on my screen here, and it seems to be matching my voice. So I don't know what to make of that, but I'm sure it'll be fine. What else? Who else do we have here? I see we're up to 5 likes. We have 18 people in the event right now, and we have 5 thumbs up. So, gosh, we could sure use some more of those. Well, that's good, Achilles. You should really reach out to people. You're welcome to email us. There's an email address in our channel. See, there you go. V says, yes, I do. Mention your series to my doctors. Glenn, it is a meeting for me. I think it's a meeting for quite a few people. We have a couple of really great stories in the addiction recovery series that are interviews. Detox first, and that would trigger things back. I don't know where Carla is. So if you've detoxed first and then introduce another opioid, that would definitely be a step backwards. I'm at 5 months off opioids, and cravings are bad, dreams, etc. But there is some victories too, right, V? There is some some breakthroughs that most people tell me happen on a pretty regular basis. Things that you realize, oh, I can do that better now. I feel better. I look forward to this more, or deal with this more, or things like that. Is that realistic? That realistic to say? Well, see, there you go. Achilles, there's a little extra affirmation, I guess we could call it. V, do you have any suggestions for Achilles? Okay, help me out again with the pause. I I I know what it is, but I just cannot remember. The pause, the worst part of it, the detox twice. So the second time going to detox, was that because of the OxyContin? It is detox has got to be a terrifying thing. I haven't been through it, but I've heard about it. Thank you. But I have heard about it from many. PAWS stands for post acute withdrawal syndrome. Yeah, that makes sense. Over the course of these last couple of years, I really learned a lot about fentanyl and a lot about addiction and about recovery. People need to understand that it's possible, that recovery is possible. I have met many people who are in recovery and planted firmly in recovery. Then I was in ICU for pneumonia, and hospital accidentally put me back on opioids, looking at old records. Oh, that's rough. Because then there you are. We have a couple of stories of fentanyl poisonings where something similar happened, where the victim wound up using an opioid in some sort of professional setting, some sort of medical setting, and the end result was reviving that addiction. And then you I don't know. Some people talk like they're back on square one in recovery, and other people talk like I caught it and it wasn't quite as bad. So I don't know. I've heard both. It was curious. I still had a full bottle left. I had to go back immediately to detox. I was out of over 150 pills in 11 days, going clean, guys. Wow. So what was the dose that you should have been taking? 150 pills in 11 days. That's what is it? 13 pills a day? That's brutal. That that's terrible. But you're good now. You're on the good path, and you're going to stay there, right? Because gosh, V, you got a whole lot of people just in this group right here that you're sort of that are your sponsors that are in your corner. And depending on you to help them too. So you're really in a sway. You wow. I've been talking for a while. I started talking when I was I don't know 2 years old, whenever it was. So you'd think I'd have it figured out by now, but no. So you're in a good place, and you're in a place where your successes help other people, and that is such a big deal. I see. Yeah, a rough spot for sure. You guys are there. You're fighting the good fight, and you're winning. And in the course of winning, you're helping others win. And other people who are helping you, they're winning too from getting to help you. You follow that? You know what I mean, right? Right. Now, I hope that makes sense. So, but we are going to wrap it up pretty soon here, folks. Uh, I have I have things to do this afternoon, and uh, gonna need to get to it soon. So, anyone else who has questions for Texas Pictures or questions about any of our series, the fentanyl poisoning or cannabis induced psychosis, addiction recovery, any of those, I can tell you the cannabis induced psychosis series is new for us. And so there's a kind of a learning curve for me as I interview more and more people. See it happen again. As I interview more and more people, I learn more and more about inconsistencies in using cannabis. How it's one of the things that stand out to me compared to a substance like alcohol is people will talk about cannabis and have this this whole thing in their head about what's what's the good stuff, what's not the good stuff, and uh, and alcohol doesn't work that way. A shot of liquor is a shot of liquor. It doesn't matter if it's gin or bourbon or vodka or tequila. A shot is a shot. Hammer asks, "Are you still planning a gathering for all the fentanyl families to meet?" Yeah, we are. We are always up for that. Things are so crazy with with the summits that we have coming up and the kind of backlog that we have of stories still to edit. Love you, V. Thank you. Thank you for being a part of all this. Glad you're here. What do I think about Kratom or 7OH? You know, that's really a question for a doctor and for people who have experience with it. Yeah, I really, I don't want to be advising about solutions like that beyond good, broad, general supportive of the importance of taking action. Well, cool, Hammer. I hope that I know that there's going to be an event in January in Florida that's going to be it's going to have something to do with an organization called Angel Army, and it's going to bring together fentanyl families and other families who've lost a loved one in an environment that it's not really just a sympathy festival. It's something more uplifting than that, something that will help fuel the energy to deal with grief from from a perspective of moving forward. And that's going to be in January. If you pay attention to our channel and to our Facebook page and our private Facebook group, if you do that, as we find out more, we will certainly be doing announcements, and in future live events, we'll be talking about it, and probably have at least one of the organizers in a live event with us. With the 2 window thing, where the Hammer Davis. That's with Victoria's Voice and Fentanyl Fathers. Correct? That is correct. Yeah, Fentanyl Fathers and Victoria's Voice are working together for this organization called Angel Army, and it's an exciting thing. It looks like it's going to have some great support, some great impact, some great ways to help the people that are dealing with losing a loved one. It's a partial or full what? I don't. Achilles is in South Florida. We're going to be in the Cocoa Beach area recording stories in a few weeks. That's as close as we're going to get to South Florida, which is kind of close. It's definitely closer than I am right now. So there is going to be a storytelling summit in the Cocoa Beach area around the Space Coast, and that will be end of August, somewhere. I don't have the dates, but we're going to be in Pensacola and then Cocoa Beach area. Naples, yeah, I don't know enough about Florida geography to know where Naples is. I know where Cocoa Beach is, and I know where Key West is because that's easy. So I'm guessing Naples is somewhere between Cocoa Beach and Key West, but that's just a guess. Partial or full MUI. Achilles, I don't know what that means. I know you're asking Hammer, but it could be Hammer doesn't want to say it, doesn't know what it means, and I don't care. East Coast. So the Gulf side. Gotcha. We've done stories there. I forget. Newport Richey. We were near Newport Richey doing stories. Not in Newport Richey, but a town near Newport Richey. And I think if I heard it, I would remember it. But well, thanks, Hammer. I felt like I just felt like I'd put you on the spot just for kicks. So there we go. So, but it is about time to wrap it up. We've been here 45 minutes, and I have to get off to the afternoon plans. It is almost 2 o'clock, and so I think it's about time to wrap it up. And now I'm trying to. There we are. All right. You guys understand? It's just me here, and so every time that you see my name come up right over here, or you see a graphic, or you see whatever, it's all me doing that. There's no one behind the camera. No one giving me direction. No one helping. So once in a while there'll be just this unexpected pause, and that's because some bright shiny object down in this area over here distracted me. It happens. Kratom is a partial opioid receptor agonist. It activates the opioid receptors, but not as strongly as full opioids like fentanyl or heroin. Okay, that's useful. So it kind of turns down the craving, turns down the reward, maybe, is what it sounds like. All right, folks. So we are going to wrap it up. I see that we have 22 people in the group right now. And I want to remind everyone that we are always available. You can reach out to us anytime if you have questions or need help or need to know who to talk to, or you want to have you want an opportunity to share your story. Just reach out to us, and you can find us at these places. You can email us at info@texas-pictures.com. You can find us on Facebook under my name, Glenn Muse. And you can find us on Facebook under the company name Texas Pictures. Texas Pictures has a page. I have a page. And we also have a private Facebook group that is for those who have shared stories with us and those who wish to. So if you'd like to be a part of that, you can email me and let me know, and I will get you in. You can also find out about us on our website, texas-pictures.com. And on our website, there's more information about how to share your story, how to make a storytelling summit happen in your area. And there's also a link to our merchandise page where you can find t-shirts and coffee mugs and things like that. And there's more information about the company. There's mailing address, there is a phone number, there is a little bit about our history and the other kind of work that we've done over the years. So thank you all again for joining us. And I wish you all the very best, and I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks again.